In progress.
Welcome to the Expert Talk Show. Here with us, the young, dynamic remote sales professional, and he has been with the remote sales for 1.5 years, which is very less, but still very known person in the community of remote sales. And most of the people in the remote sales know who is the guy, and he has been a business owner before getting into the transitioning into the remote sales, and he ran a e-commerce business successfully during the COVID. After that, he actually transitioned into the remote sales and helped to raise 750,000 K,
Let's
750K
get it.
in cash collected as of now. Yes, Marcus.
Yep.
So we have with us Marcus, and let us discuss about how this young dynamic guy could able to transition into the remote sales. What is his experience? How others can take lessons from him. So welcome, Marcus. Thank you so much for your
Thank you. Thank you so much for
time.
having
Really
me
appreciate.
here, Mr. Chandro or Chando
Yes,
himself.
thank you. You can
Yes,
call me
sir.
Chandra also.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. All right, Chandra. Yeah, no, it's great to be here. Young dynamic sales pro is definitely something I haven't heard very often, but yeah, we can run with it for sure. I like the nickname. Next, next date that I go on with a girl, I'm gonna be like, call me the young dynamic sales. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, it's good to be here for sure. And yeah, happy to speak to you and go from
Thank
there.
you. Thank you. So, just Marcus, let me know. We have 80% of the Telugu speaking people, but they also know English, and then they are
Hmm.
following my YouTube channel. My Facebook page has got 5,000, approximately 5,000, and then YouTube has got 20,000 people. But at
Yeah,
the same time, as you know,
way
for the
better than
past
mine.
6 months, I have been a little bit active, very little bit active in the remote sales space, and the people
Yeah.
from the remote sales watch this video. And I just wanted to give an opportunity to learn from your experience. What made you to choose the sales as a profession? And before remote sales, what were you doing?
Yeah, so I was actually in college when I first got started with, well, really entrepreneurship in general. Like my parents, when I was growing up, they were entrepreneurs, like had actual real brick and mortar businesses and stuff. So I kind of grew up around that. But my
Okay.
entrepreneur itch didn't really get started until I was like 17. And I didn't really start making money really when I was in college. So I think it was like 2020. That was when I really started actually starting to figure it out and go from there.
Okay.
I just kind of like figuring
Started
things
seriously
out.
focusing.
Yeah, yeah. So when I was in college, it was COVID or this was actually before COVID, and I got into like the reselling game, like just products. So I started
Okay.
with actually reselling like phones, and then from
Okay.
there, I just kind of resold everything. And eventually, when COVID happened, I was working some crappy sales job at a gym that didn't pay any commission or anything like that.
Okay.
And I worked there for a good bit of time. It was just like I didn't it was just basically like customer service and all this stuff. And the job sucked. And but I was still technically learning skills, like, showing people around, doing simple sales stuff. That was my first, I guess, break into like sales in general. And then
Okay.
from there, or while I was doing that, like I was still doing the reselling thing. And eventually I got to the point where I just was so annoyed with my managers where I was just like, I quit and had nothing lined up. But like I was still like a 20-year-old kid. So
Ah.
after about a month, I was like, well, I know how to resell. And I had a lot of time on my hands. And I found this Udemy course on it's this is a hilarious story now that I talk about it. But I found this Udemy course, like which is like a course platform. It was like $20. And this
Yep.
guy was
Yeah.
talking
I
about
know.
how he like how he basically would get things on what is called Facebook Marketplace. I don't know if they have that in India,
Yep.
but essentially he like figured out how to get things like shipped to his house. And I started doing that and getting products shipped to my house. Like I figured out how to do it. And eventually
Oh,
I
cool.
realized I was like I started getting video games because I would just like come across that stuff. And really and this is during COVID time, so like I found out Nintendo was like it was just this crazy like glitch in the matrix that I found. And I ended up like that was my niche, selling Nintendo like 3DSs in general. I mean, I'd sell anything Nintendo, like, but that was like my bread and butter for a year and a half to like 2 years, just
Okay.
reselling stuff like that. The market kind of slowed down a little bit. But I was making like 50,000 probably US dollars, maybe 40,000 US dollars with not a lot of
Wow.
bills
Mhm.
a year.
Yeah.
So that was a pretty lucrative side hustle that turned into like a full-time business at that point. And when everything started slowing down, I was like, I would say I'm decent at talking with people. Like, I feel like I kind of a little blessed with that. So I just decided to, and I came across this podcast I was listening to with actually Cole Gordon.
Oh,
And
God. Okay.
I was like looking at his program and I didn't end up doing that one. And then I found like JD. It's a crazy story. Like I ended up, I don't know, I found it through like a review on
Yeah.
Cole Gordon,
Okay.
and it was like check out JD Daily, and I looked up the group and got into the group, and I was like, all right, I want to get into sales. I kind of want to get into this space. Seems like this guy knows what he's talking about. And then from there, I just I got into the mentorship, and it's been just showing up every single day for like a year and a half, just staying consistent. And I mean, we can go deeper into that if you want, but I know that's kind of a lot. If you have any questions or anything like that for me,
Yep.
but
Yep. I got
yeah,
it.
that's kind of how I got into remote sales and in general. And it's been up and down, but I like it. So
Yeah.
it's
Great.
the game we live in.
So that's great. You have been from student trying to get into the sales, and then during the COVID moving to the uh, remote
Yeah.
sales, and all that journey has been great. So you said a Udemy course helped you to find how to get the things to your place, right? So
Yeah. Yeah, the $20 course. And
yeah,
that's why one thing that's why I'm so or if any time you can pay for information and invest in yourself, even if like, it doesn't work out, usually it's gonna probably help you out in the long run. I mean, that $20 course, I mean, I don't know how much I made
that
from
learning
that.
will be very valuable, right?
Yeah, yeah, like the investment in that's crazy. So like if you stick with it and you actually apply it, usually it's like
So that
and the
helped you
product
to
is
switch the second hand products to sell.
yeah, yeah, that's like that gave me the idea and kind of gave me a blueprint on how to do it. And obviously, like me being a little bit of an entrepreneur, like I always, me personally, how my brain works is I do something and then I want to like how do I make this efficient? Like in my current job that I'm working now, I'm always like thinking like how can I make my workflow more efficient? And as you just do it, you figure things out. So yeah, no, it's
Okay,
been
great, great. That's really
and
great.
and eventually
So
I had it so systematized and all this stuff. Like I had spreadsheets and all this stuff. Like it was a well-oiled machine when it come to like shipping things out. Like I had my little business running. That
okay.
I don't really talk about to too many people. Like this is hilarious because like not many people know this about me. But yeah.
Okay, cool. So when it comes to remote sales, what were your initial expectations, and what were the steps people laying out, many people
Yeah.
talking about, and then have you gone through the exact same
Hmm.
steps, or were there any difference? Just to give
Yeah.
a nutshell, what were the key elements when you maybe
Yeah.
you are networking with the people, you are with the mentorship, like wonderful people like
Hmm.
JD, Hunter, and John Beaumont, and others.
Yeah.
You are
Yeah, yeah.
networking.
So, I mean, definitely if you are wanting to get in this space, me personally, I'm a little biased, but I'm always going to be like, hey, get into UCM, that community, because that is going to teach you everything you need to know on how to actually navigate this industry. Because there's a lot of there's a lot of information out there, like you name it, any big marketer or whatever, where they're like saying, "Hey, put your name in the hat and you're gonna start making 10K." And it's like, well, I mean, sure you can. It's totally like it's doable. I know many people have made a lot more money than that in a month. I've had friends who've made like $30,000 a month or even more than that. Like, there's
Yeah.
people who run around in that space, but like that's kind of like I don't know. It's just there's like expectations or what people tell you, and then there's
There
just
is a
reality.
difference.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, let's be honest, like 90% of
The marketing
offers,
message is different, and the
yeah.
real world, and then the ability to evolve as a person is different.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's many factors that go into that, and really that's what UCM teaches is like how to actually say get into a role that allows you to make 10K from per month, which is what most people want to make. But there's it's not just like sales skills, which I know we all talk about all the time, but yeah, there's several factors that go into it. It's like who you really I think, I mean, what it comes down to is like who you know is super important. And that's how I've landed all my roles really. And just building up those relationships and being top of mind and all this stuff and adding value. But there's more that goes into it than what people know. But my expectations coming into this, like I didn't have super gigantic goals like some people do. I just I always like to stay pretty realistic. It's just kind of how my mind works. And so I was like, yeah, I mean, if I can just make money to be able to pay my bills, that's cool. And then from there, it's like as you kind of evolve into other things, you hit that goal, and then it's like, okay, what's the next step? Like, what do I want to do? And be able to go from there. But yeah, I hope that kind of answers your question. But it was definitely like I don't know, with the mentors that I run with, it's definitely like I kind of had a good expectation. They set a
Great,
good
great, great.
realistic expectation. You
Yeah.
we have the same
So you
mentors,
wanted
so
to hit your goals and then pay
yeah.
your bills and then just
Yeah.
evolve in the process. That's what you had in
Yeah.
mind. Mm. You are in the
Yeah.
right place with UCM community, and then the mentors have laid out everything, and then you just kept following, be consistent, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Consistency is everything. Like just showing up. Like that's if you can just do that. I mean, obviously I'm always have a mind of like I want to look into other I'm always like looking into other ventures and stuff, but really at the end of the day, this is my main thing. So I never quit. And
yep.
yeah, I
I have
mean
seen
I
you
think you have the
with the
same,
live
yeah,
sessions with JD. You are in offer or you are doing well, but still you always attend the live sessions. I have seen you
yeah,
many times when I was live, and yep,
yeah.
I really
Student of the
appreciate the
game, 100%. Like that's the thing is like always, no matter what, there's always things to learn. I mean, I fucking love the game, so yeah.
yeah,
Excuse
that's
my French. I don't know
yep.
if I'm allowed to cuss.
Okay, so what do you think are the compulsory steps for those who wanted to transition into the remote sales? What do you
Mm,
think they must do? Because
yeah,
you and me are in UCM, we know these steps, but what is your
yeah,
personal experience saying? What
yeah,
kind of activities that you did really helped to
yeah,
be in
yeah,
the visibility of the business owners, visibility of
yeah.
the offers?
Yeah,
What would you
yeah,
say?
yeah. So I think really, I guess if you're going, there's many different ways to approach this. Like if you have first of all, if you're already in sales and you know somebody working in sales, it's like and they're super close with you, it's like and they'd be happy to refer you to an opportunity, then like by all means. But really what I would recommend is this is just what helped me. So like getting into either UCM by JD Daily or RSJA, which is like their low ticket program, because that's going to give you all the tools and understanding of what you need. Because like I feel like that's such a loaded question. Like there's so much to that,
Yep,
and that they specialize in that. So that's what I did, and that's what you did, and that's what I would recommend. So
exactly.
JD, if you're watching this, there's your free advertising. So, uh,
Yeah, yeah, we are
but
happy to. We are
but
happy
but
to.
yeah, yeah, no, I love JD. If anybody has questions, I mean, you can always hit me up on Instagram, I guess. I don't know if I'm allowed to plug my Instagram, but
Yeah, yeah.
um Yeah, so
we can,
it's
you can
cut.
share your social media things. We can
Okay.
give the narration of this video. Yep.
Okay, yeah. Or I mean, Facebook is really where I'm at because that's where everyone's at in kind of the remote sales. But like, or Instagram, it's Cus Cole, 𝐠𝐫𝐭𝐬𝐬. So, but yeah, feel free to give me a follow.
Yeah.
But what is
I will
it?
give Marcus YouTube channel, Facebook, and then
I
Instagram,
appreciate it.
whatever the handles in the description below. After taking his permission, what handles he want me to place it over there, and then you can follow. If you have any doubts regarding the remote sales or
Yeah,
transitioning into the
big
remote
bet.
sales. Yep.
Bet.
So
Perfect.
yeah.
Um,
Apart from that, you were telling me you broke your bones.
yep, several.
So being a crazy kid, okay?
Yeah.
So were you active in the sports, and the mindset of the sports helped you in
Oh
sales?
yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. So one thing that I didn't touch on that I want to is like it's not said or I think enough, but there you have to have some level of like toughness or a little bit of kind of a little bit of a savage, I think. That's just my opinion. Definitely this space because and being able to communicate with people is super important as well. So those two things are very, very important, but you have to have some level of toughness and thick skin, I think. Obviously, it's not like you're cold calling people, but definitely toughness is only going to help you out in this space and really resilience as well. It's just that people, if you're just tough and consistent and kind of just a little bit of a savage, like people appreciate that so much because especially like my generation, like I'm Gen Z, my
Yep.
generation, most people cannot freaking speak to people. So if you can do that, I mean, obviously you're a different generation, but like I just think communication is such a important factor. And if you can do that, especially in this world where everyone's staring at their phone and stuff,
Yeah, exactly.
probably you're probably going to set yourself pretty far away. So communication is still super important. Obviously AI and all this stuff, but people still appreciate that human element. So
Yep.
yeah.
So this is about your current offer.
Yeah.
What exactly are you doing right now? And to
Yeah.
be able to do that, what do you think are the key things that helped you to get onto that particular offer? And
Mm.
then how much typically anyone can make in that offer?
Yeah. Yeah, so my current offer right now, I'm on two technically. And I just got off of one, so I switched over. Really the main thing how I landed those offers is who I know. And it was the first
Referrals.
or the one offer that I just left, it was due to like just changes in the company. It's kind of the writing on the wall to get out of there and move on to something bigger and better. And that was a really, really good experience. I appreciate that offer, not to name names or anything like that, but yeah, it was time to move on and into bigger and better things. My current offer, I don't know about numbers, to be super clear, because like it's like
But you can
what
just
other
state the range based on other sales professionals. No problem.
I mean at the end of the day, it's all about like I don't know. I don't like to talk too much about numbers because it's
Yeah,
just super
that's
public.
okay.
But yeah, no, I'd say you can make pretty good money.
Okay, okay.
Um, but yeah, they're they're pretty cool offers. I'm in the e-commerce space mostly, so that's what
Yep.
I'm currently doing right now. But yeah, when it comes to my sales skills, I guess you could say, let's say, I'm decent. I don't like to talk myself up, but I'm not the best, but definitely not the worst. So,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but yeah, no,
I'm pretty much sure you do so well, and then the skills that you have, your ability to connect, your ability to
mhm,
stand different from others, and then be able to work in the context of the company.
yeah.
That's what makes you a good appointment setter. So you are setting appointments for the current offer, right? So what
Yeah,
an
I'm on one of
appointment
those.
what do you think personally? should be
Hmm.
makes a person a good appointment setter, whether it is a
Mm.
Amazon offer, whether it is a real
Yeah.
estate offer, no matter what it is, whether it is
Yeah.
a fitness offer. What do
Yeah.
you think
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great
makes?
question. Yeah. When it, well, so like, so I just got, technically right now I do close and set, but, on the one offer, so there's a big misconception, like everybody wants to be a closer, which is fine. Like you can make really good money. You can also make less money doing that compared to setting, if it's the right offer. So when it comes, why I personally am one of the people who I don't mind setting, like it's kind of fun. You just get to have a conversation and you're like,
Yeah,
yeah, I don't know. It's pretty easy too. But essentially the main thing you want to make sure that you're setting people on calendars who actually are like qualified to speak and can actually make a decision, where it's not like you're wasting anybody's time. So for me, usually my calls are around 15 minutes, and I'm not like the most, I wouldn't say I'm like the best of the best, but definitely like if you're like it goes back to if you're willing to work hard and you're kind of a student of the game. Let me pull up my like framework, but essentially what I do, you kind of ask a few questions to kind of open them up, and then from there, you want to make sure that, and this is kind of just like a basic overview of everything, but you want to understand like their goals, what they're trying to achieve with that, see if that's something that they could help you with. And from there, you want to basically, let's see. So you want to make sure they're financially qualified. You don't want them to
yeah,
be pushed through who can't pull a trigger financially. And so that's one super important thing. If
yep,
they can't pull the trigger, it's like, first of all, I guess if lead flow is super low and you want to play the kind of the long game, maybe depends the offer. But that's the main thing is they need to be financially qualified. And then they also need to be like actually interested in what it is that you are selling or that will be presented on that call. I always like to price drop on that call just so they have an understanding of where they're going or what they're getting into. And there's a lot of debate for that, but I always want to make sure, like with my current offer, that they know the prices so they're not blindsided or anything like that. It just depends, like the offer. And then I also make sure they can actually show up on that call on Zoom,
okay.
clarify that they have access to Zoom, and then,
If they have any
business.
doubts, you will get on a Zoom call.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Awesome,
then just
awesome.
kind of
You
lock
have
it
the
in.
freedom
But
to, do you have the freedom from the businesses that you are working to get on a call or email or text them or WhatsApp them, anything like that?
mhm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we do text them too. We have a CRM, Go High Level, and
Okay.
essentially they're they have automations and all that
Yeah,
stuff. So
automatically things
yeah,
go.
I use text, but I won't set somebody on a calendar unless if I actually get a conversation. That's just
Speak to
me
them.
because I want
Yeah,
to. Yeah, there's so much more to that can be covered on that conversation than text. You can dig into things and make sure just there. I personally just like the phone call, but there's ways like you can text them and then if they show up, or so it's like, hey, I'm gonna call you basically. So texting helps a lot actually. So but yeah, no, closing is, I my last offer was actually closing and did really well there and closed a lot of deals. So but
okay.
yeah, not right now I'm really liking setting because it's like you're not tied to like I have to be at a meeting at 1 p.m. and then I have to be at a meeting at 9 a.m. You know what I mean? So like things can't be more sporadic and stuff. So that's one of the reasons why I really like setting. And yeah,
Awesome, awesome. So
yeah.
per day, approximately how many calls do you get into, and then how many settings roughly happens over a period of time? And you don't have to
Hmm.
talk about one particular offer, but overall, in general, as a appointment setter in the life of an
Hmm.
appointment setter, for those people who wanted to transition, they may have a good idea about it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I guess first of all, if we're talking about closing, like my last offer, we were doing 30-minute calls, and that was 16. But if I had a full calendar, it'd be like 16 calls a day, or it
Oh
could be
my God.
more than that. Yeah, if it's
Awesome.
like 10-minute calls. But if you're doing appointment setting, the offer that I'm on now, the cool thing where I'm at, I'm a single guy. Like So I got a lot of time on my hands. Basically, all I do now is like,
You have time.
yeah, I do sports and, stay active, but besides that, it's like all I can do is work. So,
Okay.
which is nice. So I can kind of work however much I want, but the main thing is just making sure you're actually doing your job and getting appointments set. So there's not any like, I guess there are some KPIs, but if you're like good and you actually do your work, I'm gonna be fine. So, um, yeah, it's my second day on that offer. So
Okay.
pretty new. All right, no, I guess it's my third day. Yeah,
Okay.
but things are looking really, really good with that one. So,
Roughly an appointment setter takes how many calls per day?
man, it just depends. Like I took,
It all depends on lead flow also.
mm, yeah, it just It depends the offer, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Like some,
Okay.
there's the thing is like you run into some offers where it's like, oh, we stopped paying for ads or whatever, and then lead flow just dries up. That's why the network is so important, is
Yep.
because things come and go. Like how many
Yeah.
in this space at least, it's not as, I guess the word would be, it's not as stable as more so like the corporate space. There are offers out there. Like I know the last offer I was on, people have been there for like 3 years, which is crazy, but things come and go and stuff. So you gotta always be making those connections and all that stuff. It's just a reality of the internet high
Yep.
ticket space. But yeah,
Exactly.
there's a lot of opportunity, and don't count it out. Like some people come and go, but you can make really good money in it. So
Got it. Okay.
yeah.
So I really appreciate you got good content from your conversation. I am really happy for our conversation. Thank you so
Heck
much
yeah.
for giving the time. And I will definitely take your permission and then put your social media handles here.
Heck yeah.
I hope this helps those people who wanted to transition into the remote sales, young dynamic people who wanted to take you as an inspiration will definitely
Young dynamic
helpful
sales
for them
pro.
because they can get into the remote sales with this inspiration.
Yeah.
So you are such a cool person, be able to navigate the conversation very easily. But I know how much you are famous. People who are watching this video, if you are not into the remote space and wanted to get into the remote space, and once you join good communities, who is
Yeah.
Marcus and
Yeah.
how famous he is.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Like I guess I'm a little famous in this little tiny ecosystem
yep,
that we hang out in.
yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm just some blonde dude, you know. I guess. No, but yeah, no, Chandra, you are awesome too. Thank you for having me on this podcast. This is technically my first podcast I've ever been on, so a great experience, and thank you so much for having me. I'm curious, I guess a question I have for you is like currently like how this is a stupid question, but I don't know, let me frame it better. What are you doing besides remote sales, like with when you're not doing this stuff or working at this
Yep. As I said earlier,
family?
I have been doing coaching for
Yeah,
the business owners in India, and then
nice.
right now I am transitioning into the remote sales along with
Mhm.
starting my own coaching program in the international space.
Yeah,
Okay. Thank
awesome.
you very much for
Well,
being
well,
on the
business
show.
owners in India, hit up Chandra. Man, I'll
Yeah.
coach you up.
Business owners across the globe
Yeah,
hit up Chandra.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Heck
Thank you so
yeah.
much for that shout out. Yeah.
Yes, sir. All right. Do I leave now or do we just quit the
Yeah,
recording?
yeah, yeah. Just a second.
Okay.
Thank you
All
very
right.
much for being on the show. Thank you.